Hi boys and girls, we're going to continue moving forward with our pop art painting. Last class we talked about pop art and we looked at some of Andy Warhol's pop art prints. We talked about contrasting colors and complementary colors. Contrasting colors are colors that are opposite of each other. Sometimes it's a combination of a really light color with a really dark color. Or what we're going to be focusing on are complementary colors. And complementary colors are colors that are opposite each other of the color wheel. So when looking at the color wheel, green is directly across from red. So those two sets of colors are complementary colors. Yellow is directly across from violet or purple. So yellow and purple are complementary colors. They're colors that contrast each other. They're also colors that are in each color family. For example, green is a part of the cool colors, while red is a part of the warm colors. Yellow is a warm color, and purple is a cool color. So it's a combination of colors from each color family, warm and cool. You can see here that I have my wash color. I've selected green. So my underpainting for my pop art painting is going to be red. I chose this because my inspiration for my pop art painting is this bubbly sparkling water. This is a popular drink that I enjoy drinking, and I think sparkling waters have become very popular in today's culture, so I chose to do that as my pop art painting. It's similar, and my inspiration came from this Campbell's Soup Can by Andy Warhol. He's used complementary colors of red and green in his Campbell's Soup Can to create this print. So I'm also going to use red and green as my complementary contrasting colors. So before we can begin our underpainting, you need to have your wash completed and your underpainting sketch completed as well. I stuck with just the basic contour outline of my can to keep things simplified. So my contrasting color of green is red. You're going to choose whatever complementary color fits best for you. And I was able to put 3 different shades or tones of red on my paint palette. I'm using a larger mama size brush for this because I'm filling a large space. And right now my brush has a decent amount of water on it, so you can see the green through the red, and this is what I want to happen. I'm going to experiment a little bit with different types of red just to create some different tones as I paint this underpainting. When artists work, they use many different layers of paintings. So right now, this is my second layer. My wash was the first to create the background. And now this red is going to be my underpainting. And as I get closer to smaller parts, I can grab smaller brushes. This is a nice flathead brush that I can use to get into these smaller spaces. But I'm using a continuous up and down stroke to fill in the can. Oh, and I like this bright red that's happening on that side. After I've painted my underpainting of red throughout the entire can, I'm now coming back in with a dark green over top, and I'm using a little bit of a gloss medium so that the red shows through as I paint. And I'm just fully filling this in. So this will be my third layer of my painting. There's no details yet. I'm just working up my colors. So this is really dark, I know, but I didn't want it to blend in too much with my background, which is a very light green. So I'm choosing to keep this underpainting layer very dark. Once my underpainting of my dark green layer is complete, I'm now again going back to my complementary color of green, which is red, and I have my light and my dark reds that I'm going to paint on top. This is now my fourth layer. So we can now transition to this being called an overpainting, because this is going to be the color that I keep on the top. Now I'm using some light and red dark values of red to show a value change throughout my can. And I like how I can see some of my underpainting through my project. I can also use some of the gloss medium to help keep that underpainting from showing through. Now that I have completed my overpainting of red, I am working on some different values. So I have mixed up some red and white to make some tints, and also some red and some black to make some shades of my color. Now I want to pick a side where the light source is coming from, so my lights are going to be on this side and will gradually fade into my darker values as we go across. And I can use water to keep things light because I already have a middle tone and a middle tone of my red in the middle. So I like how that looks. I don't want to lighten it too much. Just taking some water across this space will help to blend those values in. And I just need a tiny bit of black on the side. To create a dark shadow on my can. Next, I can bring in my details layer of some highlights and some of the details I see in this bubbly can, like the circles and the bubbles and the bubble letters. So working on that, you can see I have added in some silver to create the top and the bottom of the can, and I'm using a gel medium so that you can see the underpainting through this silver layer. And keeping with my values, adding in some white to lighten it up on the lighter side. Still using that underpainting just to show through. I've also added in some highlights with white and the gel medium in the two sides of the can here. That light shines through. And I'm working on the bubbles at the top of the bottom of the can with some light and dark reds. Just going back and forth between my lights and my darks and some whites. Give those highlights and values. And as I finish, I can add in my text, which is the main part of my pop art. Giving credit to the Bubbly brand of my sparkling. So I'm just using a fine brush and some white to make that pop on my can. I also think I need a little bit of some highlights on my bubbles. So this would be my final layer of my painting, pop art painting. So you can see that underpainting and overpaintings and detailed layers all make up a finished work of art. I hope that you've enjoyed this video, and I look forward to seeing your pop art paintings.